Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the WNBL show. Joining me riding shotgun today is Tiff Mitchell from the Melbourne Boomers. Welcome, Tiff.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. You are having an incredible season personally and as a team with the Boomers, so looking forward to chatting a bit more about that. Also today we're going to be joined by Keely Froling from the Sydney Flames. Sydney are hot after their first win at the weekend. Can you imagine what the reactions, relief, excitement would have been after that game?
No, for sure. I know they were looking for that first win, and they have to face Bendigo again and then us. So I guess they have some type of momentum going into these next 2 games.
Yeah, there's lots of action coming up this weekend. We'll also reflect on the round that was because there were some massive results, lots that happened. It always feels like a long round when the first game's Wednesday and then it finishes, Sunday. So love that though. Non-stop Signet WNBL action. But Tiff, you are having another wonderful season back in the WNBL for your second campaign after winning the championship last year. Was it an easy decision to come back?
Yes and no, honestly. If I was to play overseas, this was going to be the team that I chose to come play for. I think the way, the Boomers run things very, very professional. One of the most professional teams I've ever been a part of. So it was a pretty easy decision once I knew I wanted to come back overseas.
So you guys had a great win first up in Perth. We know there's been a lot of changes over the off season and then there was a bit of adversity. So you lost Tess Madgen, you skip her to surgery, Lily Scanlon injured, you head back over to Perth. You get a win, mainly thanks to you. You're incredible in that game. But how big was that confidence-wise to go on the road and get a win first up?
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, all of the attention was on us that game just because it was a repeat of the finals match last year. So, like I said, with the adversity that we had early on, and then also, losing Ezzy, LA, entering Olivia, and Wally, I guess everyone was trying to see, how we'll, match up against Perth. So I think we played really well, and it was great sign, knowing that we were down people.
What is it like, or what's the difference between, say, Coach Guy Malloy last season, who led you to a championship, and then Chris Lucas, who's the most experienced, one of the most experienced coaches in the league? Talk me through the differences.
Yeah, I think Guy and Chris are pretty similar but different. I guess it kind of depends on what actually is happening in the situation, where you see the 2 different personalities come out, or the same personality, honestly. But Chris is great. I think, he has his hands full with, coming to, the returning champion. So I think, we're just trying to get used to, his playing style, integrating all of our pieces and how that's going to work under his system. And him and Guy are pretty similar with, kind of just straight to the point, pretty stern and just not a lot of, fluff.
No fluff. Yeah. But I feel like Chris is a bit of a caramello koala. Do you know that chocolate?
No.
Okay, so we're going to get you to, I don't have any here for you to try, but we'll get some Aussie treats to you.
Thanks.
So like a chocolate koala, so hard on the outside, and then when you bite in, it's all gooey caramel.
Oh, that is definitely him.
Do you reckon that's Chris?
So that is Chris. I actually call him CJ, so that's like one of his little stories that he tells, like one of our first practices. I just kind of asked him his middle name, so it starts with a J, so from here on, I rarely call him Chris, actually. I just call him CJ. So when you see him, call him CJ.
Okay, I'm so doing it.
From nobody except me, but.
No, I won't take it from me.
Just call him CJ next time.
It's a very unlike Chris nickname.
Exactly.
CJ, isn't it? Because he's sort of Chris Lucas and you're softening him up with CJ.
Him up a little bit, breathe, laugh, have a good time.
Make him a bit straight. Now he's in Melbourne from Adelaide. So good. And then I want to ask you about Wally too, because she played on the opposition last year at Flyers. Gee, it must be nice having her as a teammate.
Wally's great. Like I said, last year was a terror going against her because I knew the defensive energy that she brings, on the court always, even on offense, her pushing the ball. We were playing against her. It was definitely tough, trying to stay in front of her. So it's great that, now we're on the same team. And hopefully, we give the other teams the terror that I had last year.
Did you watch much of the World Cup?
I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of the games just because of the time difference back in the States. But I kind of saw highlights and stuff here and there.
Yeah. You'd be on sort of Kayla, Wally, Tess watch, but then you'd have friends, I'm sure, in the US team. Yeah. Oh, it was great times. Hey, I want to speak about all things US basketball too, because it was an incredible moment at the weekend with Brittney Griner finally released from prison in Russia. Take me through how you felt when you heard the news. How did you hear the news and how did you feel?
I think when I found out, it was at night. It probably was like 12 p.m. here. My mom texted me and she was like, BG's out of prison. I was like, what? Like, I called her immediately. And then, of course, I went straight to social media and just saw, her being released and the video of her getting on the plane. And honestly, I got like chills. It was just surreal. I remember just talking about it last week with some of my teammates and just saying like how we're praying for her every day and just hopefully like she would get released and everything like that. So to actually see the news, to see her get on that plane and touching, U.S. soil, I couldn't help, about shed a tear for her. Honestly, it's just amazing and I'm glad she's home.
What was the season like without BG?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it felt like a dark cloud over us while we were playing just because, she's our sister. She's everyone's family. And, when she's hurt, we're hurting for her because, kind of felt helpless and can't do anything for her. But, things that we could do was just use our voice to keep, asking for her release and then just writing her notes, sending her prayers, just trying to support her any way we know how, just to keep her name in the forefront so people don't forget her. Because it's pretty hard, when you're gone and away for 10 months. You don't know what she's thinking. So I think, the WNBA and people at home did a great job just keeping her name out there and making sure, we didn't forget her.
I think someone who really led the way with that too is Brianna Stewart. I did a event with her in Sydney during the World Cup and she showed up, during WNBA, during finals, during World Cup, every day she showed up on social media, posting, the days that BG had been detained. Like, I think it's been an incredible showcase of that platform social media can be.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it helped with aiding in her release. So like I said, I'm just really glad she's home. I know she's glad she's home. She's back with her family for the holidays. Yeah. And it's amazing.
I was just reading a story before we were chatting off air and it was like what she's been doing since she's been reunited with her family since landing in the US. And she's in Texas at the moment. She's got out and got a ball into her hands. The first thing she did was dunk.
What?
She has not touched a basketball for 10 months. That is so BG, isn't it?
Yeah, that's impressive. But again, I'm not surprised.
Not surprised?
BG, I know she's missed the game. Hopefully she takes the time in healing that she needs. And, whenever she's ready to come back to the game, I'm sure we'll love her.
And I think the first meal was like a smoked meats, real Texan feast.
So barbecue action.
Yeah, a bit of barbecue action. I'm sure that was so enjoyed. And thank you for chatting about it. I know we've got huge links with her in Australia, with Sandy Brondello coaching her for a long time at Phoenix. A lot of Aussies have played with her at Phoenix. And then a lot of you guys, imports here in the WNBL that have played with and against her in WNBA. So really wanted to pay tribute to BG today. Let's finish up with a bit more news before we move on to a reflection of the round that was. We've got a new signing at Canberra. So they are bottom of the ladder and yet to get a win. But Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger has signed with them. She's returning to the WNBL for a 5th season. She played 4 at Perth and 1 at Sydney and was just a star of this competition. So I just love that she's on her way back in and that's some great news for Canberra. So I think she might have arrived at the weekend and that's going to give Canberra a real boost when they've had injuries to bring in a stud, someone that's been successful in the league that you would think will give them a real morale boost.
Yeah. Hopefully, she comes in and helps them out, like you said, and gets Canberra going.
Well, let's have a reflection now on the round that was. Let's whiz back to last Wednesday because it was the Boomers and Townsville in an incredible game. It was tough, wasn't it? That was so physical.
Recovering from that game.
84-78. Townsville had your measure, I guess, defensively in the first half. But when I say you came out in the third quarter, I actually mean you, Tiff, because what happened? Did you have a snack at halftime? I mean, you came out and took Melbourne on your shoulders and got you guys back into the game, reeled the lead in, and then you took the advantage.
Yeah, I just kind of put it on myself to step up. I think the game we were playing in the first half wasn't Boomers basketball. We had a lot of turnovers, me included. So I just, took that in the second half to try to, clean some things up and just be really sharp with what I was doing. Making my shots, getting my teammates open for their shots. And I think, just turned my offense or defense into offense and just try to get going from there.
It's a testament to Melbourne because I don't think many teams would have turnovers in the 20s and still win.
Yeah, I think honestly we had
Like 20,
almost
mid-20? I reckon it was in the 28. Surely not.
At this point.
Let's shine the light on Olivia Nelson-Ododa, because I spoke to her post-game on ESPN, and it was such a nice moment because it was the night that she really broke through and had that breakout game in the WNBL. She's been threatening. It must have been great to see her really flourish on that night.
Yeah, it was absolutely massive for her confidence. I think everyone's kind of been wanting her to show that within the first game, second game, but people don't understand, she's a rookie. She's just coming off playing in LA and, spotting minutes behind, some really good post players in Los Angeles. So this is kind of her real first time, like, being on the court for long periods of time and also being adjusted to the WNBL. It's another thing. So I think last game was huge for her. It was huge for us and her confidence, and hopefully she can keep it rolling.
It was a great game, a bit of a finals preview in terms of action, but also the teams. What about Townsville? They were banged up. Tiana Hawkins went off in the first few minutes with a rolled ankle. Yeah. Laura Nicholson hurt her neck. Steph Reed got crunched. It was all happening on their bench, wasn't it?
I mean, we went to war, honestly, at this point. I know Townsville has like the indigenous like war jerseys, but they actually took that literally when they played us, and we actually went to war with each other. So it definitely gave a finals feel, semifinals feel. But like I said, we kind of just stuck with it. We had enough on our team and on our side, kind of just pulled through and pushed through, all the pain and bumps and bruises that we were playing with as well.
Yeah, it was a super game. Let's move on to Southside and Perth. You'd come out of Perth last week, so you've had a recent look at them. This was a super game too. Perth didn't have Sammy Whitcomb, which is a massive out, but they really lifted. It was a real team performance across the board. Lauren Jackson doing what LJ the GOAT does. Yeah. Tell me, when you were growing up, did you idolize LJ? Like, could you ever imagine you'd be playing in Australia against her?
No, actually, I've never thought that. I mean, once she retired, I thought that was it, honestly. So I didn't get to play against her at all in the WNBA. And I definitely didn't think I would be playing in Australia against her now. Just because she's one of the older players, and I know she's an Australian great. So, honestly, it never crossed my mind to think about playing her. But when I remember our first game with the Flyers, I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, I'm playing against Lauren Jackson. I guess I had my, little moment there. But it's really cool, that she's still doing what she can right now.
We love the fan engagement across all the clubs in the competition. And after this game in Perth, she's had a tough night. They've set up a table for her courtside, and the line was sideline right up to the back of the seating and out the door. That's what it's all about. You guys obviously do a fantastic job at Melbourne with the fans after the games, but you must love being able to, interact with them and how special for the kids.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, honestly, the impact that, we're having on a lot of these kids. And, they come to the game screaming and yelling for us. It's the least that we can do is stay after, take some pictures, sign some autographs. And like I said, they love it. And, we love it as well.
What was it like when you first saw a little kid at a Boomers game wearing Mitchell?
No, yeah. So now they have, the tees.
Yeah, you got your own merch too.
I got my own merch. Okay. So go get the Tiffany Mitchell, big head, big head tee. Honestly, I think that's so cool. Shout out to Adam for just kind of trying it out and seeing how it went. Yeah. I think a couple weeks ago, they sold out. So it was really cool, honestly, when they come out after the game and see the moment, see the on the shirt. It was just really cool, surreal moment. Also with, with the 25 jerseys with Mitchell, stickers on their face of me. It's kind of wild, the impact that I'm having even in another country, honestly.
That is the impact you're having. One thing I've got an issue with, I don't think the lashes
it's not long enough.
They were not long enough on that T-shirt. I did notice that. No, it's so great to see.
I gotta get them on it. Get an accurate picture.
So Southside were 83-74 winners over Perth. Spoke about LJ. Love Lauren Scherf's game. You've come up against her in a grand final series and then seen her recently as well. Love that battle between the two Laurens. Yeah. So that was super physical. We are going to talk to Keely Froling soon. But Sydney got their first win, 90-82 winners over the Caps. No surprise, she stood up again as the captain. Shyla Hill had her best performance of the season. And I guess it's no surprise that, Shyla found the basket and Sydney were able to get some reward on the scoreboard.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think a lot of their offense runs through Charlotte playing well, so definitely helped them get the win for sure.
Jocelyn Willoughby has been good for them settling in. Have you come up against her much in the WNBA?
A little bit. I think last year she was injured for New York, but I also played against her when we were in Israel. So
wow.
Yeah, so she's a tough guard for sure. Very aggressive. She does a little bit of everything well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup.
It's a good fit in this league as an import, isn't it? But just having those sort of skills as a guard or it's sort of a big guard.
Being able to be versatile, I think helps you really well as a guard or a forward. Just being able to play, multiple positions, I think is kind of what makes you be successful here.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I guess the positive for Canberra, they had 5 players in double figures. As I mentioned earlier, they bring in Alison Tragmeyer-Belger, so that's a big boost in every aspect. Nicole Munger, import in NBL 1 East, gets her opportunity when the Caps lose an import. She had a fantastic game at the weekend. Sometimes all you need is an opportunity and a chance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that next up mentality, I think works for everybody, and just, stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Now, let's finish off our Saturday action. Townsville and Southside had their second games of the weekend. Townsville coming out on top 82-79. This was a super, super game. Townsville was so good. It was a huge win for them in the context of losing 2 guys earlier in the round. Carly Samuelson was exceptional, particularly from the 3. She put up some massive shots. Again, another player you would know plenty about, and another import doing their thing in this comp.
Yeah, I think if your last name is Samuelson, you know how to shoot threes. So I mean, her sister, all the Samuelson sisters are pretty good behind the line.
Lauren Nicholson too, on fire. The neck seemed to bounce back, but she's a gun, isn't she? Like you've seen a bit of Lauren Nicholson now, and she's just having an incredible season. And then let's finish with Bendigo, who remain undefeated. They are 6-0 after defeating Adelaide in Mildura in regional Victoria. You guys head up to Gippsland again soon. You're looking forward to getting back out in the regional Victorian community?
Yeah, Gibson was great. We spent like a week out there, just having camps and, having dialogues with different kids, younger kids. So it's pretty cool just to go back out there and see, the community.
Now, Bendigo were without Meg McKay, who had a wedding, and Abby Werung, who was sick. They still came away with a 84-75 win. Kelsey Griffin, player of the week, with 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Now, she might be the greatest import we've ever had in this league, but she's an Australian now. I mean, this is the impact that this league in Australia has on Americans, right? That you become naturalised. Could it ever be on the cards for you, Tiff?
Oh, man, I don't know.
I think maybe that's a no.
I'm going to have to look into it.
What you've seen of Kelsey Griffin, how would you describe her as a player or a competitor?
Oh, I mean, she definitely gets after it. She is a great competitor. I think everybody on Bendigo competes, day in and day out, which is making them such a great team because none of them take plays off. So they probably have about 3-4 people that are averaging, double-figure rebounds. So that's just a testament to, how hard they play and how they work after the boards. But, Kelsey Griffin, she's pretty versatile as well and can play a lot of different positions, which creates a lot of mismatches for teams. So I think that's kind of, where she's excelled and she's taking advantage of it.
Now, you don't play Bendigo till next year.
Yeah.
Jan 8, but that's going to be so exciting.
Yeah. I think it's good for us that we get some games under our belts before we go against, them, and they're a bit probably the best test for us at the moment right now, just to kind of see where we stand and stack up against them. So, like I said, it's good that we have some games leading up to that.
Because did they take the series against you last season? Sorry,
well,
girl.
Thank you for mentioning it, but they did actually.
Obviously, it's a different Bendigo team though. That's why I say it, because obviously last year they just missed out on finals, but they seem to bring their best against you guys.
No, I know that we are everyone's target, honestly. So we're going to get everyone's best game, and we should know that going into every single game. So right now, the target is Bendigo. We're searching after them. They're in the top spots, so it'll be fun.
Also, I like you putting the attention on them.
Everyone go after Bendigo, not us.
No, it's that way. The traffic's that way. It's that way.
Bendigo, not us.
Hey, I'm loving your insights on the league, on the players. I'm going to put a challenge out to you. I want to know who are your top 3 players of the WNBL this season, and they have to be Australians because I'm going to come back at you with a list.
Okay.
So do you want to start at number 3 and work up to your top number 1 player? Just one little rule, ding, ding, ding. They can't all be boomers.
They can't all be boomers.
No, but
Correct.
2 can be.
2 can. Solid. Easy enough.
Okay, so coming in at 3 on Tiff Mitchell's best players in WNBL23 is...
Christy Wallace.
Christy Wallace. Okay, why Christy Wallace?
I think what she's able to do for our team is just unmeasurable. She played both ends of the ball. She doesn't sub a lot. She's in the game for a long period of time and is still very productive. So I think, just her efficiency on and off the ball has helped us measures, which puts her at number 3.
Coming in at number 2.
Kelsey Griffin.
For what you just said, give us a remix of why Kelsey Griffin.
Like I said, she's just really versatile. She's a mismatch from hell. I mean, you switch a post player switch off on her. She can shoot the 3. A smaller guard switches off on her. She's able to take it to the paint, post up. And I think the players that she have around her and able to, contribute and still be pretty efficient on her end is pretty good and impressive. And
coming in at number 1 on Tiff Mitchell's top 3 players of WNBL23.
Drum roll. Kayla George.
Kayla George! Captain, my captain.
Absolutely. Kayla is an absolute legend in this league. She's already broken records, rebound records, scoring records, and continued climbing. And she just hasn't dropped off, from playing for so long and in this league for such a long time. She's doing a great job, leading us. I'm proud of her. And, it's a lot more to come from Kayla. She's
closing in on the rebounds all-time list too, closing in on Rachel Spawn. Yeah. I think she was 250 behind at the start of last round. Mm-hmm. So she's coming.
She's coming.
Watch
out.
Watch out. Okay, I might do a list.
Okay.
I'm going to go my top 3 imports of WNBL23. Do you want to ask me the questions? Do you want to swap roles?
Okay. So
I've interviewed you a lot, Tiff, mainly after games, but you can ask me the questions now.
Okay. So coming in at number 3, who is your number 3 import at the moment?
My number 3 import at the moment is Kayla Thornton from the Southside Flyers.
And why is that?
4 letters for you. Stud.
Okay.
Now, I knew she was going to be good, right? She's a starter in the WNBA, but the first couple of seconds of Southside's first game of the season against Adelaide, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
She's good. She's at number 3 though, because she's a starter in a team of studs.
Yeah.
So I've got context on all my picks.
Okay.
So number 3, Kayla Thornton.
Cool. All right, we move to number 2.
Number 2 is Tiana Hawkins from the Townsville Fire. Been on fire from round 1, so experienced. Yep. It's what Townsville wanted in an import and what they've got. She's been so tough at both ends of the floor. Townsville are a super team and they're extremely well coached, but I think she's playing her role as an import to perfection.
She's been great.
And she also came back on after a rolled ankle.
I know, which is, she's tough too.
Her partner came down to, I was sideline on Wednesday night and her partner came down to the bench like, you okay, boo? You okay? And I'm like in between going, T, yeah, your partner just went, yeah, you okay? Cool.
Have to make sure she's good.
Yeah, it was all good.
All right, that leads us to number 1. Who is your number 1 import at the moment? Drum roll.
My number 1 import in WNBL23 is you, Tiffany Mitchell.
Oh, Meg.
Not just saying it because you're here, but I think you're incredible last season. I actually had you as my number 1 player. I think in the first half, my players of the season, and it's definitely the same ranking for you at the moment. You're just so tough. Every time the ball gets in your hands, I never think you're going to miss. You rarely do. You rarely do. And just so clutch. Like we talked about Perth round 1 over there, tough circumstances. You just fired up and then you did the same against Townsville in the 3rd quarter. And I love when imports come back too. So Tiff, you're number 1.
Thank you. Oh, that means a lot.
All right, let's look ahead to the round coming up. It is round 6. It's kind of flown.
Yeah. We're moving.
We are moving fast. It starts Wednesday night. Bendigo Spirit hosting Sydney Flames in Bendigo. Can't wait for Bendigo to have a home game showcased on ESPN. It will be fabulous. So we've got Bendigo undefeated. We've got Sydney with their first win. Do you think this could be closer than what it looks on paper?
Yeah, I mean, anybody can be beaten any day in this league. So I think, Bendigo's still going to have to compete against Sydney. And, Sydney's already played them 2 times, so they should know a little bit their tendencies and, what is about to happen in that game. So I think it'll be a good match.
I'm also anticipating like a banging of heads between Keely and Alicia Froling.
The sister matchup. Yeah, we'll be tuned in.
We will for sure. ESPN 5:30. We move on now to Friday night action. Sydney are back at home and they're hosting you guys, the Melbourne Boomers. You're on the road. You've been to Perth a few times, but now you get to go to Sydney. And as you've spoken about during the show, you're not going to be taking them or anyone lightly.
Right. We definitely are preparing for them like we're playing, the top team as if we're playing Bendigo, honestly. So, we're just ready for that match and excited to get out to Sydney.
It's going to be a super game Friday night. And then we move on to Saturday action. This one is going to be a good one. Up in Townsville, the Fire back home, they're hosting the Perth Lynx. I think Perth have been much improved since round 1. Didn't have a great, they had a terrible shooting night against you 2 weeks ago. But what did you think of Perth on your most recent trip there?
Yeah, I mean, they're a sneaky team. I think we can slip in, get some wins against some really good teams if they don't come to play. So I think, Perth is still trying to find their footing just a little bit and kind of, what works for them. So, like I said, they're pretty sneaky and you got to watch out for them.
I think they'll take a lot out of the fact that they put up a great team performance against the Flyers without Sammy.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just their heart and soul, their captain, their best player. She was unwell. Hopefully she's feeling good and on this road trip. And then just back to Townsville. I mean, what did you make of them? You've got a New Year's Eve game coming up in Townsville, but they've obviously had 2 very narrow losses to Bendigo and then you guys by just a matter of points. What's your sort of overall take on the Fire?
I mean, they're just really aggressive. I think, they get after you. They get after the ball. They're denying you. They're in passing lanes. They're bumping you. Any opportunity that you get, clogging the lanes, running you off the line. So I think, defensively, they're definitely going to get your best match with them. And they have a lot of, offensive threats as well. So just containing, Steph and Nicholson shooting and getting downhill, but you also got the outside presence of, Tiana being able to shoot the 3, Carly being able to shoot the 3 as well. So, I mean, they're pretty well-rounded. So it's kind of hard to just hone in on one person, which makes them really difficult to guard.
Michaela Roof, I should mention too. She was super against you guys.
Yeah. How could I forget?
Right, but no, she did get injured against Southside. So I mean, that's 4. They had a lot going on that bench last week.
Right now.
Right. Hopefully, Michaela is okay, and we'll be back in action this weekend as we move on to Sunday games to round out what is a massive round 6. We've got the UC Capitals at home against the Flyers. They'll hopefully welcome in Swaggy. She'll have a swag out there doing her thing in front of the home crowd. Flyers, they've had a tough win over Perth, but then fallen to Townsville. A lot of expectations on a team like that when you've got Lauren Jackson, you've got Kayla Thornton, you've retained a big core of your players who are opals and are experienced. How do you see them and can the Caps put up a good fight or can they even win this game at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a pretty big back or front court just with the size that they bring at all positions. I think that's probably why we struggled a little bit when we played them, just the size that they present at every single position. So just being able to, I guess, move the ball against them, get them moving will benefit, any team in this league. So I think that's probably what I'll take away from the Flyers. They're pretty aggressive as well. Will bump and hit you whenever opportunity comes, but that's everyone.
Yeah, it's a tough league. Yeah. It's tough and physical. Caps at home, I think they can draw on last week. Great home crowd. They've also got Sydney another 2 times this month, so they've got to look at that first win and know they're not far away. We don't want winless teams in this comp. So I hope that's super close for the Caps. And then we finish off with the trip to Adelaide on a pleasant Sunday afternoon as the Lightning host your Boomers. And all signs are pointing to that it might be a very close game like you played them last time at Parkville.
Yeah, they're absolutely a tough team, and they have, scoring weapons at every position as well. So I think, Kristen is playing well, the rookie, and she's shooting the lights out of the ball. And I think, Boles as well. She's being able to create. And I think, was she in Adelaide last year. I'm not sure.
She played one game last year. She's 18.
Oh.
Like, do you look at her and just go, wow,
I did not
your
know
face
that. Yeah.
lit up
I didn't
there,
know that. Well,
right?
she's playing amazing, honestly. And I think she's the boost that, they needed. Is kind of, getting them going offensively. And she's kind of stepped up for them. So it's pretty cool. She's 18 doing that.
Lauren Mansfield's had an incredible season after crossing from Sydney to go back to Adelaide, to her home state. She's sinking down threes and just has a real pep in her step. Yeah. How much can, a change of environment, going home, those sort of factors have on a player, do you think, in terms of, rediscovering form, but, refinding their passion for the game again?
Yeah, I think it does, immeasurable amount for your confidence, and also just, being happy. I think, your surrounding and who you're with and who you're around, just better weather, definitely just changes kind of how you feel and how you approach the game. So I think, change of scenery is good for anybody. If it hasn't been working, try something else. And, her being at home, with people that are, close to her and support that's closer to her, I think it's definitely helped her. Well,
it's been a change of scenery for Sydney this round, going from the losing list to the winners list for the first time. Let's catch up with one of their star players now. Well, it's happy times in Sydney this week after the Flames notched their first W of WNBL23. So it's only fitting that we welcome their captain to the show. Hello, Keely Froling. I haven't seen a grin this big in a while. How are you?
Hi, guys. Obviously really excited, happy, and just relieved, I think.
So relieved because you've been thereabouts. We knew that somebody was going to come away happy on Saturday night playing a fellow winless side in the Caps. Did you just exhale when the buzzer went, and was it just a huge sigh of relief?
Yeah, I think it was relief and then also reward for our hard work. And like you said, we've been really close in a lot of games, and we've been right there, and it's probably been 5 minutes or a quarter that we haven't played our best basketball that has cost us some games. So it was really nice to get that win under our belt, and now hopefully we can build on that.
Bit of disappointment after losing to Bendigo the Sunday before. I know Shyla did the post-game interview, and you could see and feel and hear the disappointment from her about the performance. What did you guys talk about during the week leading into the game against Canberra?
Yeah, we had a lot of focuses from that game, and it's really been since game one. But I think for us, we're a defensive team. We know we had to work on a lot of things defensively. And then, it's the other thing as well, rebounding 50-50 balls and getting through plays and getting the right shot.
And just on Shyla, she's been threatening, and she came to the fore on Saturday against Canberra. How good was it for her to put up the performance she did and finally get some reward with her shots?
Yeah, it was awesome and great to see. Obviously, she puts in a lot of hard work, and her shot hasn't been dropping along with a lot of us. So it was great for her to get that confidence, and I think now we can build on it. And as a team, we shot the best we have on that game in that game. So hopefully now we build on that.
So 2 big games coming up this round. You're off to Bendigo Wednesday night for the ESPN game against the Spirit. Have you got a bit of confidence now? Can you knock them off? I mean, they're undefeated. Have you got confidence that you can get the job done?
Yeah, I think so. It's, I think anyone in this league on any day can beat any team. And Bendigo have obviously started really well, but we know that we can get them if we play how we want to play. So we take a lot of confidence from that game, but also the games before, we've played them twice already. So we know that little things that we've done in those games, if we can string those together for 40 minutes, then we should make it a really good contest.
Tiff, do you have any siblings?
I have an older brother, yeah.
Competitive between you two?
We were younger. Yes, he doesn't play anymore. So
So you can imagine what it's been like, Keely and Alicia's whole life as twins. Froling V Froling comes up again Wednesday night. Alicia's in some good form herself for Bendigo. Has there been a bit of chit-chat between you two lately?
Not too much, actually. After the games, I think. But we keep it pretty chill. And we don't try to talk too much basketball because Alicia annoys me too much.
Has it been good to see her run into a bit of form? Obviously, Bendigo have got a spread of contributors, but over the last 2 weeks, she's really come in and made an immediate impact.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see. Obviously, not against us. You don't want to see that. But in all the other games, it's been great. And I think, she's had a really rough run these last couple of years, and to switch to her left hand is phenomenal. Like if I did that, I'd just have to retire basketball. So it's been awesome for her, and to see her getting some confidence back and playing well is great. Just not against us on Wednesday, please.
Now, last week, Tiff, in your chair was your teammate Mia Murray. We spoke to her about the sibling rivalry with her brother Brad, who plays for Melbourne United, and we were talking to Izzy Borlase from Adelaide about her family, and then we were talking about the Frolings and how competitive and crazy they are. We're talking about having a round-robin table tennis match because they'll go bananas for table tennis. Keely, what are your thoughts on a round-robin between the three families, and what could we expect from the twins?
I think Mia was absolutely spot on with what she said, is that tables will be broken, rackets will be thrown, but I'm all here for it.
And maybe on sort of neutral territory at Jay and Shane Frol's house in Townsville, I think Frolings could host at Fortress.
Yeah, I think so.
Froling.
Jenny Froling will put on a massive feast for us.
Oh,
so
the sandwiches. Yeah.
Sandwiches, lasagna.
The chicken lasagna. Always. Tiff's going to come just for the chicken lasagna.
I'll just come to watch. I'll watch the rackets be broken.
Now, we'll be watching this weekend as your teams play each other. Sydney, Melbourne, always a rivalry between all Sydney and Melbourne sporting teams, the cities. Tiff, you guys have been rolling, but you'll certainly be well aware of Sydney and what they're capable of doing, particularly with their tails up after that first W.
Yeah, I mean, like Kelly said, just they're playing well right now. So anybody can be beat on any day. So we're definitely not going into the match, underestimating anyone. So, we just have to play our game, what we've been playing all year, and then hopefully, come out with the win.
Keely, how are you going to stop Tiff? Because she's in unbelievable form this season. Boomers are going great guns too, but there's going to be some great battles inside and also the guards matchups.
Yeah, Tiff's been incredible, and I'm glad I don't have to guard her. So I think that'll be maybe Jocelyn and Kira's job to guard there. And but yeah, I think across the board there's going to be a lot of great matchups, and it'll be a fun game.
And just finally, some more great news out of Sydney the last week or so. You've got a new president at the Flames. Her name is Victoria Denholm. She's part of the ownership group. How great is it to have a female president?
Yeah, it's incredible. And to have Vic on board, she loves the game. She loves the Flames. And what the club is doing for us behind the scenes is just phenomenal. And I think they're really building something really special, and it's great.
Well, she'll be there courtside Friday night as Sydney and Melbourne face off. Keely, thank you so much for your time. Great to see the Flames finally get some reward. I know there were some big smiles and, big gasps of relief after that. So here's to many more wins in WNBL23.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Tiff, this has been super fun. Thanks for stopping by. Well, because you've got a big road trip, so this has kind of been a detour before your big weekend to Sydney and Adelaide.
No, yeah, thanks for having me. It was great chatting with you and talking basketball.
And I love the list.
Yeah. You do?
Yeah, you did good.
Thank you.
Maybe you could come back again and we'll do another list game.
I got you. We can come back next year and revamp our list.
Yeah. Oh, no, this season. Would you come back again? Sorry. Unless you want to come back next week. Yeah. Maybe come back before you play Bendigo.
Exactly. And then Kelsey, I'm taking her off the list. No, I'm just kidding.
And also, before we go, you're an athlete, you're flexible, you're a machine. Can you point your toes up to your camera?
Oh. You guys want to see my Crocs? I'll just take them off.
Oh, yeah, take them off. These are drippy.
Where's this right here?
What size shoe are you?
I'm a 9.5 men. So if anyone wants to send me some sneakers, go ahead. Or Crocs, anything.
Any brand opportunities, please.
Hit me up.
Slide into the DMs.
Got some champagne.
They're cool. But you have to wear socks under them in the current Melbourne climate, right?
No, the weather has been doing me dirty since I got here, so I'm a little upset.
Hey, at least you're not Marina Mabry and Jackie Young. Signed up for a hot girl Perth summer and got relocated to Ballarat for 6 weeks. They got done a dirty by COVID. Yeah, and by the WA border. Anyway, thank you so much for coming in. It's been so fun. Good luck this weekend. It's going to be a massive double. And we'll see you guys next week for another big edition of the WNBL show.
Thank you.